session. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining with us today. Singapore Salesforce Bootcamp, which we have almost completed more than 30 plus sessions. You can find all the session recordings in the corresponding YouTube channel. And you could find out all the upcoming sessions in Singapore Salesforce Marketers Group. We have quite exciting sessions have been coming up, which we're talking about development areas. So in next week onwards, we're starting development of Marketing Cloud. All the sessions, which comes the bright speakers and which covers most of the development activities. And afterwards, we're covering Einstein and we're covering Interaction Studio and further data romance. All right. So today our session, Salesforce Data Cloud, Google Cloud and B2C Commerce Cloud connectors. So in our last two sessions, we have explained how we can connecting Sales Service Cloud connect to Data Cloud, and how we establish a data model, and how we design the data model using CIM model, the cloud information model. And before the sessions, we have gone through how we are going to connect our AWS S3 connection to Data Cloud. Along with, we've showcased how we're going to connect the Google Cloud. I'm not sure what was the, but we have shown two of the connectors in the last session. Today we're going to cover the Google Cloud and the B2C Commerce Cloud connection. And tomorrow we're going to showcase the web and mobile events, how we would love to connect web interactions and the mobile interactions to Data Cloud, and what are all the typical use cases, and how we could establish a data model by using a Data Cloud object, a Data Cloud CIM model, the cloud information model. So without any delay, I'm going to introduce myself. I know most of the folks definitely know me, but for people who doesn't know me, myself, Anindra, and I'm a Salesforce MVP. I'm a Chief Technology Evangelist, working with multiple clouds at an enterprise level, and I'm group leader for Singapore Salesforce Marketers and a Singapore Slack chapter, and I'm a marketing champion of 2021. So I'll quickly go through, I know how many of them know Data Cloud. It's not super fancy, but you should understand. As of Feb 14, 2023, the customer data platform is now called as Salesforce Data Cloud. During this transition, you may see references of customer data platform, customer data cloud, customer 360 audiences. Wherever you see the names, I think Salesforce has been erasing those and then replacing with Data Cloud. You may see some places it seems still the customer data platform, but soon you're going to change it to Data Cloud. So if you can see all this Data Cloud documentation, I'm going to ping this link, the Data Cloud documentation, how the Data Cloud designed the implementation, what are all the Data Cloud modules, and how the Data Cloud works. Everything has been captured here. If you can just go through it, you can understand better way. And just pull this link. Yeah. So the next thing is everyone should understand how the Data Cloud really works on a different aspect. Data Cloud is a real-time platform for customers' magic. So this is an entire Salesforce platform, which is completely built on Salesforce platform with an additional enterprise architecture level of a data lakehouse architecture. And that brings the data from different sources of systems, and that will harmonize all the data into a single customer graph. And using that single unified data, you could just design your customer interactions, and you could get to know about your customer's behavior, and they could just use this no code or just a point and click interactions. You can design your complete unified system, and then you can use the platform. The Data Cloud platform is all in one, and you could easily use it for deliver your magic customer experience for your better customer 360 at a high scale. So typically how it works, so you're going to connect all your data into a data lakehouse, which is real-time and batch metadata model. Along with zero copy federation policies have been applied for 100 billions plus daily events has been capturing inside your Data Cloud. That's we are calling as a customer data. And we're going to harmonize the data, which are leveraging our Data Explorer, our Engagement Explorer, We could leverage our identity identification. We could use all our data cloud capabilities. And once we get the unified data, we can engage the data with different touch points. And then we could bring the real-time magic with our wholehearted experiences with Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Tableau, flow orchestrations, and we could leverage the same data model for multiple core modules of Salesforce. And we could design the customer 360. And with that, we could leverage our customer experiences in whole different at a larger scale. You could use the same data for your different touch points about Marketing Cloud. You could visualize the data in Tableau, and you could design your advertising. You could just increase your ROU and your revenue of interest with multiple channels towards to get your vision out of it with the customer matching. So this is how the data cloud works. So when it comes to data cloud, so not only for data cloud has a multiple connectors, as you see, it has pre-built connectors of Salesforce, Slack, and you could connect this. So there are a lot of connectors have been coming up in the new releases. But along with this, data cloud is powered by MuleSoft. It is like not only for online data, you could connect your offline data as well. And it's not only for on-premises, you could connect your on-cloud, and you could access the data from different legacy apps and solutions. And it gives a fast time to value with reusable APIs and automations. So within the data cloud, you have enough flexibility that you can connect to MuleSoft and to bring the data from different sources of systems which are not part of your online, but you can build you can connect your legacy platforms, and that too with the real-time and secure connectivity across enterprise. Along with data cloud provides one more visualization by Tableau. So within the data cloud, you do have flexibility that you can directly expose your complete data into a visualization via Tableau, and it serves the purpose of get to know all the engagement data for the marketers, and you could bring all the data of your unified across your sales core platform, and then you could build a lot of analytics. So that gives 20% of faster insights across all your customers' data as well. So in a nutshell, so data cloud is integrated natively with Customer 360, as I've told. And if you look at data cloud, it's been on top of Hyperforce. The data cloud has been hosted, and the data cloud, you could leverage it for Einstein intelligence, flow automations, as I said, flow orchestrations. You could design a Einstein engage insights, and you could leverage your Lightning app development as well. So you can use the same data model to ingest into engagement model, the production builders, your flow orchestrations, your development of Lightning Web Components. You can build your Lightning Web Components targeting to data cloud object model, and we could just expose different services to connect them with data cloud as well. So it's super fast and much more easy for building faster apps, and you could build a lot of custom 360 apps, and you could leverage custom and partner apps with data cloud as well. So overall, so we have data cloud has been segregated into 3 internal products. One is data cloud for marketers, which we're calling as customer data platform. And we have 2 other new, which is data cloud for W and data cloud for core as well. So this entire 3, which has been creating a lot of impact. Initially, when you look at, we only have a customer data platform, right? And that is only sit in CDP for marketers. But for now, this platform is no more for marketers. This platform is much more for marketers. Like, people like me as an analytics guy, where I could leverage Tableau, I can bring the data of data cloud and then design visualization inside Tableau, and then I could use the same data model for my core as well. So that's for data cloud inside your 3 products. So you can listen more and more in the coming days. So what is Tableau, what it does, and what is core, what it provides the most significant value for all your customers to provide a customer magic. Now let's jump into our regular topic, our today's session, how we can connect and set up a Google Cloud Storage connection. So when you see Google is the #1 company for his standards, and most of our folks we are completely dependent upon a lot of browser, Google Chrome, a lot of Google products, even Microsoft Excel, even so Google Drive, the Google Drive Sheets, and a couple of other data elements. Now all these things, like like Salesforce, Google also has their own internal CRM, and like Salesforce, Google has a lot of apps. So they also have their internal data storage, which is Google Cloud Storage. So there are a lot of customers who build the apps and then who stores the data into Google Cloud Storage. So the same thing like AWS. So we have built an apps and we're hosting in AWS, and we would like to leverage a lot of data storage inside AWS. Ideally, you could leverage your S3, you could leverage your a couple of other databases like RDS, and you could use your multi-fancy applications on top of S3, right? So many of the enterprise customers are still leveraging Google Cloud Storage, but they're leveraging Salesforce also one of the product, and they're using Data Cloud as one of the product to bring the data of Google Cloud inside Data Cloud and then design the unified system and use the same data for their marketing cloud and use the same data for their service channels and the sales teams as well. Now, if you look at the Salesforce Data Cloud, Google Cloud Connector, so if you look at how the entire data has been ingesting into Data Cloud, so the only way the data has been ingesting into Data Cloud via Google buckets. If you heard about, Google also has a directory kind of a system which you can create a parent directory. The parent directory, which talks about if you call kind of a sandbox in Google, you can create one sandbox for testing of your entire application, and similarly you can create a production in Google Cloud Storage where you can segregate the environments or the instances. And using this Google buckets, I could ingest the flat files, which is nothing but your CSV files, using a Google Cloud Storage. You can just bring the data of CSV or the flat files from Google Cloud Storage, and then you can ingest the data into Data Cloud via Google buckets. So the question, when we talk about Google buckets, so the question, how should I define a Google bucket and setup? How a person like me is going to go and then create a Google bucket under Google Cloud Storage? So if we look at in the right-hand side, the configuration that what we design for a Google Cloud connector, it'll always ask you a name of Google Cloud, the Google connector name. You can put your default name, whichever you preferred. And then for authentication of Data Cloud to Google Cloud Storage, it'll ask you the bucket name, access keys, the secret key, and the parent directory, the one which I've told about. So that is most important. The parent directory is most important. That's where the flat files has been sitting into it. Like S3 location, we define S3 directory. The same thing for Google Cloud Storage as well. Every cloud provider, the directory is the main purpose of their storage location where they can go and then define and then get the flat files to ingest the data into Data Cloud. Now, when you define your Google buckets in setup, first you have to go to your Google Cloud Storage. Unfortunately, I don't have an access for both systems, the Google Cloud or the Google Cloud Storage platform. I would love to go with the theoretical and say I can explain maximum, whatever I can do my best. You can go to the Google Cloud and then you can register the bucket once in setup. So you can just to define your the definition, the stream definition and management, click on your stream definition and management in Google Cloud. And then from there, you can get all your credentials related to the data stream. So what you can do is you can just click on the respective definition and management file and the option. Once you click on that, you will have an option to capture your bucket name, because there you can find all the details about your access keys and secret keys. You can just capture those and then you can come to Data Cloud, and then you can you can set up the Google Cloud connector. So here you can come and then you can just your bucket name, access key, secret key, and parent directory. Then once you click on save, it automatically take you to all the details. In a nutshell, on a step-by-step process, as I said, you can click on CDP setup. You can click on the Google Cloud Storage from the left navigation. You can enter the bucket and connection details and click on save. So once you've done this connection, you have to go on and create a data stream. So in the connection details, you can click on the connection. So from the file that need to be ingested, you can just choose the file, because once you connected, you have an option in the left-hand side to choose the number of what kind of files, because in your parent directory, there are so many files have been connected, which include contact data, customer data, your sales data, order information, or whichever the data that is responsible for Google Cloud. You have an option that you can just choose a number, the file, and then you click on next. So, and then you can define, you can see all the header rows, the subject areas, what are all the headers that's available within the flat file. And you need to define the primary key, and then you need to save it. So once you save it, automatically in the backend, the data stream is going to be created, and you could check the status of the data stream once you inside your monitoring action. I'll show you how it looked like as well. So this is a setup of a Google Cloud connector, and you always amazed that some of the customers comes to us, and they purely comes with the a pure requirement of we have a Google Analytics has been connecting with multiple systems of our internal websites, mobiles, or we leveraging Google Analytics as heavily. So is there any ability that we could connect a Google Analytics data back to Salesforce Data Cloud? Of course, he could do it. He could design a systematic definitions, which could eventually connecting with your Google Analytics data back to Data Cloud. So there are some prerequisites are required. Those prerequisites, especially a paid version of Google Analytics and a Google BigQuery. BigQuery is a service inside Google Cloud. You could just adopt the service and then you could just start doing it. It's just like a SQL query. So there are some setups required, especially in the Google Cloud. So what you have to do is you have to enable the Google Cloud and the GA, the Google Analytics, and the BigQuery are the two add-ons when we're calling about on a high level, which you have to enable those two data streams. And then you have to link this data of Google Analytics to your Google Cloud storage via BigQuery. Once you have done this, and ideally all the data will sit under Google Cloud storage for your Google Analytics in the flat files. And then you can go and then ingest the data into Salesforce CDP as Salesforce Data Cloud as well. So that's the process of ingesting data from Google Analytics to CDP, which is nothing but Data Cloud via BigQuery, the transformations, and then you could just ingest the data into Data Cloud. So this is how you can ingest Google Analytics via GCS inside the entire BigQuery kind of an operations. So let's talk about a kind of a demo, how we can see the Google Cloud storage inside Data Cloud, right? I'm going to logging into our customer Data Cloud platform. So I'll go and then. So here, I'm going to logging into it. I'm logging into my Data Cloud. So this is my home screen about Data Cloud, which contains all my customer Data Cloud. I can see my apps, customer Data Cloud apps here. So I can showcase the apps that what has been enlarged. You can look at my customer Data Cloud, the app that what we have, the customer Data Cloud. So here, I can go on and click on setup, click on customer Data Cloud setup. So on the left-hand side navigation, you can see a Google Cloud Storage. And then you can click on new. So here.
Hey, Sunny, sorry to interrupt. We actually see your presentation on the org.
Oh, is it? Let me reshare my screen again. Sorry. Thank you for note. Thank you for giving us. I'll go and then share my screen again. Can you see my screen now?
Yeah, we can. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for letting us know. Okay, so I'll go back again. So here is the app launcher where you can go and then see your Google Cloud, the customer Data Cloud. You can choose your Data Cloud. So this is the Data Cloud where you can see your home screen, which contains all your data streams, your segmentations, activations, and everything. And these are some of the usage elements where your team has been consumed so far within the Data Cloud. And now, in order to connect with Google Cloud Storage, you can go and then click on setup, and then you can click on customer Data Cloud setup. So in the left side navigation, you have an options. You can see Google Cloud Storage under configuration. You can click on Google Cloud Storage. So here you should have an ability. You can click on new, and then you can define your Google connector name, and then you could define your bucket name, and you could define your access keys and secret keys along with your parent directory. So these are all the mandatory fields that you have to connect with Google Cloud Storage for the credentials, and then click on save. So once you click on save, unfortunately, as I said, I don't have the Google Cloud Storage connected, and couldn't be able to explain much in a better way, but I can theoretically explain how it works. So when you click on save, what will happen is it automatically enable the connections here. So you'll get a configure option here. When you click on configure, so you'll have an option to go and then search the flat files from the parent directory. And then you can choose the files and the respective field names. Something like this you could see here. If I talk about, I can just showcase how it similarly looked like. See if I can go to my configuration of, go to my data stream. Click on new data stream. I'll have an option of Salesforce here, which is connected. So the same like Google Cloud Storage, you have an option. You come to Google Data Stream, and then you can click on next. And then here it's showing as your Salesforce org and the respective. You can connect multiple orgs into Data Cloud. You can see your respective all objects. The similar like Google Cloud Storage, it will show you all the list of the files. So here you can see the list Salesforce, the list of the files available in parent directory, and then you can choose a respective file. Once you choose a file, you can click on next. And once you click on next, it'll ask you to give you all the account fields, which include the header label and all the fields. You could just choose whatever the fields you would like to ingest, and ingest the data into Data Cloud. And then you could define what kind of data that has been belongs to its engagement data, or the profile data, or is there any other data that is not part of profile or engagement. So, and then you can just click on next, and then you can click on save. So once you click on save, what will happen is automatically the data stream will be creating in the backend something like this. If I look at any other, let's consume one of the S3 which I've showcased. So in the backend, you can see a data stream has been created with your name of the data stream, that what you're given at the time of creation. And then you could design all your details, because these are all the fields, these are all the source fields, what you've been ingested from Google Cloud. And then you have an option, you can see here, the latest run status, whether it has been success, the data has been loaded from Google flat file into Data Cloud. And at the same time, you can see how many number of records have been processed and how many total records have been created overall from a unification perspective. Now we could see the details about the data stream. So you can see all the details about the data stream, and and the directory where your parent directory has been, where the data has been captured from, and the respective file name, that what you have been bringing from Google Cloud Storage as well. So this is how the data has been ingesting into Data Cloud. So once the data has been ingesting, the source data has been ingesting into Data Cloud. So you should have an ability that you can do a data model. You can design your data model. So once the data stream created here, should always have an ability that you can go and then create a mapping here. You have an option here called create mapping. So this is a mapping table where you can go and design your data model, which is nothing but you can just transfer your source data into your CAM model, the cloud information model, which is specially designed for a data lakehouse, which is a completely enterprise level data model inside Data Cloud. So if you look at your source data, which is sitting in Google Cloud Storage, and then I have been mapped to multiple products inside my CAM model, a Data Cloud model. And if you look at all the objects of a Data Cloud, you could see all the objects of Data Cloud here. You just click on your, say here, you have an ability that you can go and then leverage a standard data model. Here, all the objects of Data Cloud is available. So especially on the Google Cloud, so based on the flat file of the Google Cloud, whether this is related to your contacts data, customers data, or it's been coming to an engagement data, or it is any other data that is not part of your engagement or profile data, you could still have an ability that you could design. You could just choose a respective fields. Let's take an example. I would love to choose my contact point email, and then click on done. So here, contact point email, I have so many fields, but here with the respective source fields, anything which is not matching with my contact point fields. So, I mean, ideally you can go and then you could map the respective, let's take an example. If you would like to design and map this quantity with any other fields inside your data cloud, you can just go and then map the quantity from source fields to your data cloud CIM model fields. So you can just choose this field and then you can just drag and drop. Or you can choose the respective primary ID to any one of this unmapped fields that what you have in the right hand side. If you can map this primary ID SKU to one of your internal, look at this. So this is just like a, the mapping of the source data to your CM data, because my data which is completely depend upon my this is just a product data which needs to be mapped to one of my goods product inside data cloud. So I think 100% there's a match of each and every table inside data cloud. That's where the product has been designed. And if you feel the source data object model which is not matching with your data cloud data model, then you should always have an ability that you can design your data model. You can create your own custom data model, and you could create your own custom attributes with a custom model, and then you could use the custom attributes to create a standard data model as well. If you look at this, so I always have an ability that I can create a new custom object, and I always have an ability that I can create a new custom fields with the standard objects as well. So it's up to our relation with the source data, how we could capture inside our data cloud. So once you design this data cloud, once you've done your mapping, and once you click on save, this automatically runs the data in the backend. And then all the source fields will be allocated to your goods product data. You can see all the data under data model. If you look at your data model, so there is a table which you have connected already. If you look at your data streams, because one of the data streams that what you have connected, if you look at contact point email, so this contact point email has been connected. The source fields have been connected to your data model of data cloud, and you could see what all the fields have been mapped out of your source fields, because not all the fields have been mapped to data cloud data model. The fields that what you mapped is more important. I would not recommending to map for all the fields. Just map the relevant fields, which is more realistic, that can be leveraged for your unification. So the same thing you could explore. You could use a data explorer for exploring all your data, whether the data has been created perfectly as per the data model what you design in the mapping section. If you look at the data model objects, so the data model objects what you have designed, if you look at your contact point email, so you'll get the list of all the records that has been mapped with your contact point email, and you can look at the which data stream, the S3 data stream, and you could see the respective details about all the records. So this is a data explorer where you could look at your data has been mapped to what number of fields, whether the data has been mapped correctly or not. So this will help you out to manage all the complete visualization of your mapping of source data to your cloud, the data cloud data model. So this is how the data model works, especially for the Google Cloud Storage. Let's see if any questions. As of now, it's review mapping. Do we see create mappings? As of now, it's review mapping. Do we see create mapping initially? Yes, Lakshmi. Currently, if you look at data streams, I look at any one of the data stream which is not part of the one which I have not showcased. Let's take an example of the journey activity, because this data coming from this also has been have a mapping. SMS email publication, this also has a mapping. I can check, is there anything which is not mapped with? I think this is product, this is order data. Let me see if this is not going to be mapped. This also has been mapped. Encoding. Yeah, if you look at this one of the data stream, right? One of the data file. So you can look at this, you can click on start data mapping. Once you click on start data mapping, it's completely new. From the left-hand side, you can see all the source fields. So my source data is basically, if we look at this CH bomb data, the encoding data, which is purely a profile data, because you can see first name, last name, job title, and the primary key and the company. So with this, ideally, what you can do is you could just choose your selected objects from here. So what you can do is, so primarily this model, which definitely works with your one of your contact point. You can see your contact point consent, contact point email, phone, contact point social, and all the details. We look at contact point consent. You see what are all the fields that is really mapping with the your source data, your name, your contact point, status, source, your record ID, your name, your party, your role, your job title. Is there anything that you can see with job title? No. So what you can do is you can go and then create a new standard fields with the job title. You could just choose this field first and click on done. And then from here, you could see multiple assigned field. So as a simple thing, what you can do is there's a long list of fields which you can't able to drag and drop. So I always give an option where you can choose name, and then you can just map this name with this. The same thing, if you look at the ID, the primary key. So I always believe that the contact point consent has not a better field for mapping your ID, but if you look at any ID field that is given you the unification, the external record ID or the contact point consent ID. So ideally, you have to map the contact point consent ID, which is a required field. So what you have to do is you have to map ID with contact point consent ID, right? So if anything that you see, any job title, last name and all, I can see, is there any name which is already mapped? If you want to map the last name with the name again, you can just do it. There's no harm to do it, because while you do concatenation, you can just go and then do it as well. It's not connecting because the data model of the data type is not exactly true. So what you can do is you can just click on this, just delete this, and then you could just find another fields which is really mapping with your job title, last name, and all the stuff. So once you done this, when you click on save, so what will happen is it automatically create one data model for you in the backend, which is what you connected the source data to your data model consent data. So when you go to the data model, you can only see the data model consent object, not data model chpom object. So everything has been connected to data source objects to the data lake objects. From data lake, it's been connecting to data model objects like DMOs. So that's how the entire data model works. So it's very simple. You can leverage all this consent tables for you to manage your unification very neat and clean. And you could use the same tables for multiple purposes as well. That's okay. For the first time, it will be create mappings. We will map only the source fields with respective data model entries, right? Yes. So it's not like that. Like you can't able to map. There's no. I mean, you may or may not there are source fields called 4 to 5 source fields where you can go and then map to the right data model entities. And you're up to your wish where you have to connect all the fields. I would believe and strongly advise where you can only take few fields which are really relevant for you to design your calculated insights. If you want to leverage that field in calculated insight, or if you want to leverage this field in your marketing cloud for segmentations, all the elements, then I think I would recommend to add those fields. But no worries, let's take an example. If you forgot design this modeling, when you go to design your calculated insights for your customer lifetime value, or when you want to leverage the same data model, these two fields you would like to leverage now, like first name ID into your marketing cloud, and you miss segmentation or you miss any other job title for you to target the customers. Sometimes what will happen is you always have an ability, you can come back to the same data stream and then just connect this job title to one of your field inside your data model entity, and then click on save. Once you click on save, this field will be automatically available inside your marketing cloud. So you don't need to bother about it. All the data cloud will take all the bulk processing operations, and then it automatically available the same field under your marketing cloud, under your core cloud as well. So can we do the data mapping from both data stream and data lake objects? Anita, how it works is first the data stream has been connected. Once you've done the mapping, it automatically go and then sit with data lake objects. So let's take an example. This is the one which I've done, encoding CH form. So this is a data lake object. DLL, where you can see all the source fields that what have been captured here: company data source object, first name, ID, and all. So the ID what you have is a primary key. Now here, this data lake object is the one which has been coming from data stream. Now here, I've not done anything. I haven't created the mapping. I haven't saved the data mapping as well. From here also, you can have an ability that you can go and then start the data mapping. It is just a replica of this data stream. That's it. Nothing else. Because from here, from DSO to data lake, from data lake to data model. Yeah, that's right, Lakshmi. When there is one ID field on source, and how will you choose the best ID on the data model end? Okay, it's a good question. So when you look at this data model, right, Lakshmi? So when you design your data model, so the data model has a one unique ID, the primary ID here. And as a best practices, as a data cloud documentation already, suggesting us everybody. So the IDs that what you need to match for unification. So you always have a benefit to, there are some entities, if you're a data cloud expert or a data cloud architect or a data cloud developer, you know the basic objects that what you define the relations of source data to your CAM data, which is nothing but data cloud data model. So there are some consent data model, which is nothing but your contact point, consent, contact point email, contact point phone, contact point social. So these are all some of the best data entities that is given by data cloud. So what you have to do is, if you want to choose based on the selection of source fields, the nearest data object which is matching is a consent. So you could just choose a consent, or you could choose, there is one more called a party. Party is one more object which can give you the data unification. If you look at the party objects as well, the individual objects and the party objects. So you always have an ability that you can choose out of the best profile engagement object, which is near to your source data: contact point email, contact point consent, contact point social, contact point on individual objects, and a party object. So you have, these are all the objects which you need to know. You need to know first what is the data model of the data model, the data cloud. So once you understand the complete stuff, then you should probably understand what exactly what is a relevant object which you can go and then design it. But based on your question, it always have either an individual object or a contact point consent objects or a party ID, which have to leverage for an identification mostly. If you look at the individual object and the either of contact point or the party identification object must be mapped to successfully use identity resolution, segmentation, and activation. So these are all some of the tables which everyone is going to leverage. I mean, every source systems is going to leverage it. All right. Any questions, Lakshmi? All right, so let's go and then jump into our another, which is the B2C Commerce Cloud. I know there are things that everybody should understand. Cloud information model. So the cloud information model is one of the enterprise framework, which is designed specially for managing the best data model for a large data processing and operations. So the CAM comes with their best of the knowledge, and then that gives a flexibility, the low weight, because this has been given the fundamental principles of all the data cloud systems. Either it is a Google Cloud or Amazon Cloud or Salesforce or any other clouds. Everybody follows the CAM standards. So the same standards has been used inside your data cloud as well. That's where the complete data cloud has been built in such a way that it has to be a great principles of managing the different data entities that can be support for different systems of records, which include your internal systems as well as your outside of the data cloud as well. So it has completely built with the concept of data lakehouse, which is a complete building blocks of multiple blocks where you could use this data for multiple systems very easily. All right, so the things to know before we integrating Google Cloud with Data Cloud. There are some permissions are required from Google Cloud Storage Connector perspective, because when you look at the security and the security standpoint, because Google, Amazon, Salesforce, we have a bright security across the systems. And at the same time, you should always follow some security set of permissions to be required to connecting Google Cloud Storage. So we look at the connections at what Salesforce has been recommending. So if you look at, there are some keys like how you're connecting Marketing Cloud with any other SFTP locations with private and public keys. The same thing while connecting your permissions for Google Cloud Storage. So there are some interpropability keys that you need to connect with your buckets, the storage buckets. So there are some permissions which is given by Salesforce. You have to create your interoperability keys for Google Cloud Storage bucket. You have to set up the permissions for Google Cloud Storage buckets, and you have to add the principal to Google Cloud Storage bucket, and you have to validate those keys against your Google Cloud Storage as well. So these are all some of the HMAC keys, which is nothing but your high-based messaging authentication protocols. So while connecting all the systems with any Google Cloud Storage or Amazon S3, so these keys are really mandatory. Some of the companies where they're okay to go and then create the Google Cloud connection with Data Cloud, but some companies where they always comes with the higher security, which involves the third-party products, especially Data Cloud is third-party product, which has been connecting with Google Cloud. So they have to come back with the complete accessing of the console of Google, which you can access the buckets of storage as well. So this is the process where a person had any trouble of connecting Google Cloud Storage, which the company comes with a lot of complete security, which comes with a lot of keys management and all. So you have to leverage HMAC, and you have to connect this HMAC keys with Google Cloud Storage bucket as well. So this is a document that you can go through. This is just a simple configuration document. You don't require any other team's help. You just need to follow some step-by-step process in order to enable the permissions for Google Cloud Storage connector. Right, I'm just keeping this. So there are some other things to know, especially as I told, all the folders. If you have multiple folders inside your Google Cloud Storage, all the folders has to be created under your parent directory. Then only I can be able to access inside Data Cloud, and I could access inside the flat files from each folder. And at the same time, when you're migrating from staging to production, so all your objects can be selected, and that can be importing into Data Cloud, because when your Google Cloud Storage parent directory was in staging, so you could go and then target your staging environment for all the secret keys and all the credentials. And then it automatically choose the flat files, and then the data will be importing to Data Cloud. As I told, it's always have a recommendation to connect the parent directory, and all of its subfolders only contain some essential files. If you see any files which is empty, the folder which is not available inside Data Cloud. If anything, which you see the empty file, the folder won't be shown under Data Cloud. So once the connection details have been accepted, so the Data Cloud will begin syncing between your Google Cloud Storage to Data Cloud. What will happen is the sync is exactly the mirror of your Google Cloud bucket. So it's not a magic. It is something that what you have available in Google Cloud bucket, the same exact sync will be matching with your Data Cloud as well. Let's take an example. If any objects have been deleted, right? Let's take an example. If any objects have been deleted, so inside your Data Cloud, so it automatically get deleted from the staging environment as well. So because this is the one you're pointing it to staging, so all the data which has been deleted automatically from your Google Cloud Storage as well. So you should always recommend your data aware specialist can process to create data streams for any objects under the parent directory. That's what I've told when you're creating a data connection, they always mention the parent directory. So there is no other directory which you no need to mention. Just keep the parent directory as a source for every data stream. So there's one main important point. There are some latency is expected with respect to initial data availability, because once you connect Google Cloud with Data Cloud, there is some sort of latency which you could expect. But after your first load or a zero load, the incremental sync is very fast, and that runs every hourly. So the minimum data refresh between Google Cloud to Data Cloud is 1 hour. All right. So these are all some of the things to know before you integrating Google Cloud with Data Cloud. Parent directory is very, very important. Yep. Let's go to our next connection, which is B2C Commerce Cloud connection. When it comes to B2C Commerce Cloud, so as I'm personally a B2C Commerce developer, and I've been built many of the sites using storefront reference architecture as well as site genesis architecture. So I've been working with this platform from many years, almost like 2-3 years. I was a little familiar with this B2C Commerce Cloud site, and I would love to explain as much as what I learned from B2C Commerce Cloud. That will give a lot of cross cloud expertise from any one of the attendees as well. You should learn something from Commerce Cloud as well. So Commerce Cloud, this is one of the best commerce thing that what I've seen after I worked in many of the commerce in my initial career. So I can proudly say that this is one of the Salesforce Digital 360 data management tool, because you could see all the streamline of the data management for marketing, commerce, and digital experiences in a single platform. And what it does is it always have a beneficial for, when you see a customer Commerce Cloud data, so the data which contains all the commerce data. It has orders data, it has vouchers, it has coupons, it has engagement data, there's many other data which comes with B2C commerce flavors. So in order to leveraging this data into Data Cloud, so in Data Cloud, when you're connecting, if you look at the right side, so there is a B2C commerce data stream, which you can import all the objects from B2C Commerce Cloud. So which include your profile data, engagement data, and you can get your orders data, sales data, everything. So you could leverage a complete data into your Data Cloud, and then we could just design a lot of insights, combine the purchase history in store and online, and we could use the cross-channel data for building a lot of unification. And we could send this data back to B2C Commerce Cloud as well for them to understand and then look at the right intent for them to provide the vouchers for online customers. So when you look at what are the benefits of the journey, how the Data Cloud help B2C Commerce Cloud customers to powering their personalization with e-commerce insights. So if you look at a person, let me see any questions. When we see Salesforce CRM, can we bring any cloud or managed package related data as well? Yes, Lakshmi, we can bring managed package data as well through data kits. So in the coming sessions, I think we have a session for sure. I think someone is explaining on the data. There is a possibility, Lakshmi. There's a concept of packaging and data kits where you could bring the third-party App Exchange customers data into Data Cloud, and you could design a lot of things. Yeah. So when you look at the journey map, you could power your personalization with e-commerce insights. So look at Farah. She's an online shopper and she's an in-store shopper as well. So what it does is, like, she's one of the loyalty member, and she'll start purchasing all the items, and she make at least one purchase one quarter, and but he has not made any purchase from the last 90 days. So ideally, what as a marketer, what you do is you're gonna re-engage the campaign. You're gonna attract Farah. You can create a campaign and create a segment looking for recently lapsed shoppers, subscribers with high CSAT scores. Because Farah is one of the person has more CSAT score, and she is lapsed and she hasn't visited our website from the last 90 days or 30 days. So we need to think through as a marketer that we're going to re-engage the campaign, but while re-engaging campaign, I don't have the data of the Farah. I don't have a data of his purchase transactions. I don't have data of Farah's when was the last made purchase. And I don't know her CSATs. I don't know her customer lifetime value and all the details. So what I would like to talk about is, I would like to, as a marketer, I would like to engage Farah in a different ways through a cross-channel marketing. I would like to send an email to Farah. I would like to send an SMS to her to re-engage, to have some sort of discount offers. And I'm going to design a marketing cloud journey, which Farah is going to receive promotional emails via an email. I'm going to send a push notification for her to send some sort of offers that to go and then grab attractions inside our B2C Commerce Cloud website. And then Farah sees the email and she sees the push notification. She quickly visits our Indigo.com website, and then she sees the experience of personalization what Sarah has been missing out. And based on her or his history, we get to know what are all the personalizations that we need to bring out inside through an IES platform. And we could put some personalizations towards her to send some promotional offers. And then finally, Farah is going to make a purchase for a new pair of her hiking boots using our promotional offer. So this is a kind of an entire journey a typical e-commerce platform or the e-commerce customers is going to do. When you look at this entire base journey, it has multiple touch points. The number one touch point, so we don't have Sarah's data, which we need to segmentize and target her. That involves the Data Cloud. And we don't have Sarah's Once segmentation has been done inside Data Cloud, once we got Farah's unified profile, so we can send back to the marketers. Marketers use the data in order to send an email or SMS or push notification to Sarah through a journey builder, and then through Marketing Cloud. And then Sarah receives the cross-channel campaign messages, and then she's going to visit the website. And then each and every interaction, what Sarah does is we can capture through Interaction Studio or a personalization platform. Once the events has been capturing into personalization platform, we could design some more personalizations as per Sarah's behavior. We could design some Einstein insights and intents to boost Sarah's confidence according to the Einstein terminologies. And then finally, we could design, and finally, we could make Sarah to purchase the system. So it involves multiple systems. It involves the multiple touch points to make the customer feel happy. But in order to see entire journey, it typically does less than 30 minutes or less than 40 minutes for us to engage Sarah to purchase a transaction or purchase a sort of product from a website in order to create a complete ACV, right? So while bringing this kind of an insights, so what are the simple use cases that what we talked about it, right? So how I would love to leverage e-commerce data to power my personalization experience. So typically when I talk about, as I'm a customer guy, typical commerce guy, sitting as a C-level customer, looking at all the C-suite customers, I would love to know how I can see the calculation of customer lifetime value across my e-commerce POS to deliver the intelligent service routing. So there are different touch points, e-commerce, point of sale and service. And I would love to identify the people in my different loyalty tier who have not made the purchase in the last 30 days. And I would love to trigger an email as the promotional offers as per Sarah's scenario. What are the systems involved? What are the data sources involved? E-commerce and loyalty. So finally, I would love to identify the people who have recently opened my campaign emails but have not made a purchase in the last 30 days. I would love to engage with them through a cross-channel journeys. So the sources of systems have been involved, which is e-commerce, along with the Marketing Cloud. So we look at different kind of use cases from a B2C standpoint. Different kind of data sources have been included, in order to pull the data into Data Cloud. So this states that it involves 5 to 6 systems to bring a different set of data, a different kind set of resources, and how we would like to design the data model, how we would like to design the unification of the customer profile, and how we would love to segmentize the same data, which using different criteria, and then how we would love to send the data back to marketers, right? So by putting all this simple use cases, we have some more inside use cases, especially on how we would analyze a customer insights based on the products purchased, cross-channel marketing and service performances, or merchandising trends. So a person want to see the sale order, that the person of consumer marketing need to understand the trends of the profile insights. He want to understand the campaign segment membership to B2C customer orders. He or she would compare the B2C customers placing with case history to identify the CSAT trends. So like multiple use cases, multiple insights that what you would love to get from the enhanced insights through a purchase data and the product data for B2C Commerce Cloud. So typically when you look at a nutshell, there are different commerce requirements. The customer should own and have implemented a B2C commerce. One thing which I can go on and over. Commerce Einstein must be activated in order for data to flow from B2C commerce to Data Cloud. And only data from published site will be ingesting into Data Cloud. So there's a series of steps, right? So if I give this requirement to one of my Data Cloud engineer, so typically what he asked me the questions is, okay, you come with the different requirements now. You told me to build all this insights to you. You told me to build a unified data that you want to leverage for your marketers to, target the personalized to customers through a different channel, cross-channel. So the number one thing is, he'll ask me a question, do you have a B2C commerce website? Do you have a Commerce Einstein have been activated in your B2C Commerce Cloud? Do you connected your B2C Commerce Cloud system with Data Cloud? And what are all the sites data you would love to ingest the data into Data Cloud? So there are predefined set of questions, which I may come when my developer asks me or the architect asks me these questions. So in order to do that, so Once I get all my, the requirement, yes, I have a website. Yes, I have my sites have been developed, one for APAC, one for EMEA. Yes, I love to ingest the data from B2C Commerce Cloud to Data Cloud. I would love to ingest my orders data. I would love to ingest my product bundles data, transactions, and the orders, the payments, the merchandising information, the quantities, and the customers' data, the customers' last visited data. I would love to send all the data into Data Cloud. But the biggest question is, I have 3 websites which is sitting in different regions altogether. I have a website which is sitting in APAC. I have one website sitting in EMEA. I have one more website sitting in Japan. So I would love to connect all the 3 websites into one Data Cloud, whether that is possible or not. How you would segregate 3 multiple websites data into one Data Cloud, and then how you would love to unify the data, and how you would love to send the data back to my marketing cloud systems. Right? So those are all the simple kind of a connection setups which comes into my one of my Data Cloud admin, which is going to ask me all these questions. And of course, my Data Cloud admin is so smart to ask me multiple questions on my Commerce Cloud, business manager modules, and all the other infra details about your dev, testing, sandboxes. So what are all the systems that is been supporting with Commerce Cloud? So when I come with when I explaining all this architecture with my Data Cloud admin, I would love to take a call with him, and I would love to explain what is my B2C Commerce Cloud infra has been currently set it up. So now, if you look at my Commerce Cloud instance I've been set it up, I have a Realm. Realm is nothing but my instance. In a typical Salesforce terms, sandboxes. My complete instance of Salesforce, if you look at the instance, your Realm is nothing but your instance. If you look at your instance like AP13, when you're sitting in Europe in UU14, or when you're sitting in Australia, or North America NA14, so that is nothing but instance. Inside my Realm of B2C Commerce Cloud, I have 3 instances, one with development, one with production, one with staging instance. So within my production instance, I have 3 sites have been built, one with APAC, one with EMEA, one with Japan. So we look at all the 3 sites for this. So the real thing is, there are customers who has a single Realm, nothing but I have a single instance because I have one Salesforce instance. But there are some customers called, they have 2 Salesforce instances because there's one instance which is connecting to Russia, which is altogether a different kind of a data rules and data sets, and the data privacy and regulations as well, and the compliance. Now, if you look at double Realm, nothing but multi-Realm. So one I have with AMR, one I have with EMEA. So within this B2C Commerce AMR region, I have one B2C Commerce Cloud org. EMEA, I have another B2C Commerce Cloud org. And I've told my Data Cloud admin, so look at, Karthik, I have 2 B2C Commerce Cloud instances available. Under each instance, I have 3 major sites I've been running in. There are total 6 websites I've been running in for 2 B2C Commerce Cloud instances. Now you tell me how I would design. Now you tell me how you could design and how you could ingest the data into Data Cloud, and whether the Data Cloud supports multiple websites to one Data Cloud, or it supports multiple Data Cloud to one instance. So now when I ask my Data Cloud architect will come back to me now and show me a architecture, how you would love to connect multiple commerce instances to CDP. So if you look at your commerce instance A, or B2C commerce instance A, which is sitting in your APAC, where you can connect with one single Salesforce Data Cloud org. At the same time, you have a B2C commerce instance B, which you can connect it to 2 Salesforce CDP orgs as well. You can connect the same instance to CDP org 2 and the Data Cloud org 3 as well. So at the same time, you could connect multiple B2C commerce instances to multiple CDP orgs as well, right? So that's really giving a lot of flexibility and the comfortability from a leveraging perspective of the tools and systems, and that's so easy for managing my data residence requirements while connecting multiple systems. And because, as I told, the Data Cloud has been hosting in your Hyperforce, so you don't have much latency towards your data, because nowadays I think most of the countries, I believe from the next release, almost 13 Salesforce is planning to host the data, the Hyperforce, to be available in the next 13 countries, which include Indonesia, which is near to me, Singapore, and Japan, US, European regions, and a couple of other things. They have planning for first target, and they're closing for almost 13 countries that would love to up and running for the hypercodes. So with this kind of an architecture, so the best thing, how you can go and then set it up. So now we can see it. I can see while connecting as a data cloud admin, now I understand the complete architecture of connecting multiple commerce instance to CDP. Now I would love to, try with one-on-one now. I would love to connect one of my instance sitting in APAC and then connecting to one of my Salesforce CDP org. Now, as an admin, I can go and then click on setup. I can go and click on my B2C Commerce Cloud connection, and then I have a control. I have a full control on and the scope of ingesting the data through B2C Commerce site of my selection. You can see once I connect my B2C Commerce instance, I can see my available sites. There are active sites in the production or sandboxes. You could choose a number of sites, and then you can choose the sites, and then you can just go and then start selecting those sites. And then once you select the sites, you will get to know number of objects has been exposed. You can see number of objects. Each and every real site has been exposed through CDP, and then you can ingest the data from the point what you selected from the sites and objects into data cloud. So it'll take up to 24 hours of data when the new site data has been ingesting into data cloud. So there was a most, because it has plenty of data has been sitting into B2C Commerce Cloud, where you should see all the data has been ingesting into B2C Commerce for various objects or what you've been selected for. So the biggest thing is like, so if a site has been deselected, let's take an example. You choose initially 2 sites, but later point of time, you don't want to choose the site that what you required. You can go back and then deselect the site from the selected sites to available sites. And that will take some time because the entire flow has been stopping for data at the next incremental refresh, because this has to be done first. And after that, the incremental sync will be refreshed automatically with the remaining selected sites in the data cloud. So this is how it works. And when it comes to a couple of bundles, every cloud, even Sales Cloud, Service Cloud, Commerce Cloud, Loyalty Cloud. So Salesforce comes up and building with a predefined bundles of data sets, nothing but data streams. So you could choose a data stream of the bundle, the respective bundle of the instance. If we choose the instance, what I've selected, I can see the bundle of default bundle of Commerce Cloud has been displayed here called order. With this order, I have the data of my orders, product data, and customer data associated with the orders and products. All the 3 sets will be automatically ingesting into my data cloud. That was so cool. I no need to do all these things. My bundle is an automated exchange package, which you could do all the job, like the mapping, and it does the complete streaming, mapping, and everything. You just use directly the data into your data model. So that's the benefit of having a starters bundles. And the most important factor is that what you would love to see is you can see order bundle. It will deploy your orders data, product catalog, and a customer profile data with the predefined data mapping and modeling. That's what I've told. It has complete package, which you can directly, that's called bundles. In data cloud, the bundles available for certain products. One with marketing cloud bundles available, sales cloud bundle, service cloud bundle, loyalty bundle, and commerce cloud bundle. There are 5 cloud bundles automatically available inside data cloud where you can leverage and then use a complete stack of those. So when it comes to commerce cloud, there's a one fine thing that's being given, like, so there is data which is sitting historically from last couple of years of data, but what commerce cloud does is it'll just deploy day 0 data of 30 days of historical data, and then you should give a time of 24 hours of time for the initial data load. And for order bundle data takes 1 to 2 minutes to load, which is reduced your load time in almost like 200 plus times, because it is just a bundle data which is quietly packed and designed in such a way that should be more intangible with your source systems, and that gives a lot of flexibility as well. So the only thing is you can't able to redeploy the bundle inside your data cloud. You already have a bundle sitting in data cloud. Either you delete all the data streams related to the bundle, then you should go and then redeploy. But the data streams are already active and then it's already been available. Then if you want to redeploy the same bundle, the system won't support it. It won't give you an option to select as well. That's a order bundle definition. So if we look at order bundle data streams, so as I told, it's a package which comes with different kind of data streams. One with bundle product, goods, master, product catalogs, product categories, the product options, sale order, the sales invoice, and all the data. So each and every data type has a refresh mode. So when it starts your day, every daily, all the data streams of those bundles have been refreshed automatically, which contains a full refresh. And there are some other data, especially on the engagement level, on the sale order level. The engagement data will be, upset with each hourly, because that's the data has to go and then insert with the proper engagements, right? Because the customer visits the websites and then he done the transaction, he done the abandoned cart, or he has one person who requested for returns and all this stuff. So all this data will load into hourly with an offset operation inside Data Cloud. So after we discussing all our the product category, the sale order line items and all, so the beauty of Commerce Cloud is one was the ingestion of the profiles. So entire B2C commerce websites, see, orders can be placed by registered users mostly, right? Sometimes like 10% of the people who does the guest checkouts as well, is unknown users. So what will happen is, while ingesting order data into Salesforce Data Cloud, so the data stream will include the following PI regulations, one with first place, last name, email address, phone number, and address. So with this, you could map all this data with the individual Data Cloud object and then just map it with the right data model. And other things are, all profiles ingested via the order bundle are considered known profiles. That's one of the most important thing that you should aware of it, because that's where the system will get to know, or the Commerce Cloud system will get to know, the profiles what ingesting with order bundles has been considering as your known profiles, even if the order have been placed using guest checkout as well. Right, and the most important thing is the B2C commerce shopper profile where do not track equal to opt-in will not be ingested into Data Cloud, because in your B2C Commerce Cloud website settings, so you should have a setting where do not track is equal to opt-in. So if you keep that as an opt-in, sometimes some of the companies who design this page for a Commerce Cloud websites for their profile consent pages inside, while logging into Commerce Cloud, you have a profile section. There you can have an option, do not track or do not give a consent. So if you can opt in, then ideally the data won't come to Data Cloud. So that's one of the policies that has been designed for PI regulations. So this is a complete data model, entities and relationships for B2C Commerce Cloud. When you look at your sale order, so the main heart of the sale order, which comes here, your sale order customer data, the visitor ID, known, unknown, and then the sale order will be created. And you can see the product that what has been purchased. Is there any bundle product has been purchased? And what are the category of the bundle product? And the bundle product or the goods master product has been tied up with goods product, bundle product, master product. And at the same time, the sale order has been mapping with your sale order option value, because you get to know different kind of options inside product. And so this is the entire data model entities and the relationships that has been leveraging inside Data Cloud, where you can just map it and I can showcase the same while designing the data model for one-to-one and end-to-one mapping inside data model. You can look at the product options for data model relationships. For product option value, which is unique product option ID, the cardinality will be end-to-one, many-to-one for the product options, and you could choose a DMO attribute as unique ID. So Lakshmi asked me a question. So how should we, define a data model for the right systems? So this data model, which is available inside your Data Cloud documentation, Lakshmi, where you could define the right data model for each and every object and each and every data model entity. And at the same time, this gives a lot of flexibility for everyone to understand the data model about Data Cloud as well, because there are plenty of relationships have been available, which you need to manually choose under the data model from each and every product. When you choose a data model in that relation, it will give a lot of flexibility for you to, reducing the load balancing from the Data Cloud operations perspective. So this is a typical, product option data model relationships from B2C Commerce Cloud to Data Cloud perspective. So let's jump into our demo for the next 10-15 minutes. So when I go to my Data Cloud, so I can click on again setup. Because this is just my org is the training org, which is 30 days free trial org, where I can't able to connect much because my connections are simply, this is really good, but somehow I couldn't be able to connect my Commerce Cloud connection. Just click on customer Data Cloud setup. somehow this org has not been connecting with all these connections, the B2C commerce. Once you click on B2C commerce, you click on connect. So here you have to put your business manager URL. The business manager URL, which is comes with your every commerce cloud. The main important access through business manager, the BM, we're calling as commerce cloud BM, the business manager. So the BM is a heart and core of the commerce cloud, which through BM you can create sandboxes, you can create your instances, you can create your multi websites and all this stuff, which is nothing but your ELMs. So here you just need to add your business manager URL. So if you look at my business manager URL, which is so you can just logging into your commerce cloud. Let me copy my business manager URL and I'll share it with you. So let me share my screen. So here I can go and then just enter my BM URL or your website URL. Just click on this. Every commerce cloud org has a business BM manager URL. You can take the URL, click on next. It will take me and then logging into my sandbox, my real commerce cloud sandbox org, the sandbox instance. I'll just accept my authenticator. So I'm logging into it, my BM now. So this is my BM, which contains my sandbox ZYAE. It contains multiple sites. These are all the sites have been designed inside B2C Commerce Cloud. So inside the B2C Commerce Cloud site, so here I have plenty of details. I can see my merchant tools, my administration panel. I have to choose one of the website. I can choose one of my website which I've designed for the, you can see the data, the products and catalogs, the ordering data, and your custom objects data, your content analytics and all the stuff. And if you look at your administration panel, you could see your administration, which contains all your sites, the global preferences, operations, the complete code applications, the deployments, and all the stuff. Now, what I can do is I'm going to ask my B2C Commerce Cloud. I can click on connect again. I'll just add my BM URL. I click on next. Now it'll ask me a pop-up. Would love to tenant to linkage your B2C Commerce Cloud with Data Cloud, because our Data Cloud is a tenant to accessing allow to link with Commerce Cloud. So we look at the service types and your org ID of Data Cloud, your tenant domain, which is nothing but your CDP tenant, and your linking to one of the hash key. Click on allow. So once you click on allow, so automatically what it does is it will go and then start connecting your B2C Commerce Cloud org to so as I said, it's pretty bad that this is a trial org. I can't able to use any of the connections. When Aris Richie also giving a demo for the Google Interaction Studio, it has the same problem. So it's just showing the same thing. You can't able to connect anything. But ideally, what will happen is, so you could see the same kind of a screen here. Once you connect, so you could see a similar screen like this. My bad. You could see the similar screen like this, where you could choose the respective sites, whatever the sites, what you're seeing on the left-hand side, right? So the same sites you could see here as well. The sites that got in my sandbox, these are all the different kind of sites where you can choose the sites. And then once you choose the sites, you could see all the data of the site has been provisioned, product catalog and all the data you could see here. And then you can go and then ingest the data into your data cloud under one of your data stream. So this is how it works. And there is under administration, we look at storefront. So it's been loading into it. So here should see KPI settings and where is this? And setup. Administration. Yeah. Sites. of your site. You could give an option of accessing the data, your custom objects. Yep, ideally you should see all the objects that what you have in your B2C Commerce Cloud. You could design your custom objects and all the stuff, even analytics and everything, that you could have an ability and the flexibility to ingest the data into Data Cloud. And then you could design the complete data model for the respective B2C Commerce Cloud as well. But currently I couldn't be able to do it because this is just Trilog. Essentially, what you could do is you could see the same kind of a screens. You could see a starter bundle, something like this, orders, or you could see once you choose a site, you could see all the site data that you wish to ingest. This, you could define the scope and then define the ingestion of all the data into B2C Commerce Cloud, from B2C Commerce Cloud to Data Cloud, and then you could see the same information under your data stream as well. Once you connect here, any connectors, once you connect your Google Cloud Storage, or once you connect your B2C Commerce Cloud, so you should have an ability that you can go and then see the same connector details under your data streams as well. You can click on data stream. So here, once you've done the connections, ideally you can see the data stream here. You can see the B2C Commerce Cloud. You could see your Google Cloud Storage and everything here. And then you can just use this streaming data to select the respective sites data, and then you could just ingest the data into data stream. So that's how the data stream of Commerce Cloud works. And then it has the same data model. So it'll come to data stream, and then you could choose one of your, if you look at the commerce data, this is one of the e-commerce data, the same thing like B2C commerce data. You could go and then design the mapping. And then once you design the mapping, so the data will go and then sit under data model. And you could leverage the same data model for, as I've told. So these are all the bundles of data available for the data stream, which include your entire, the objects and relationships of your entire B2C Cloud, B2C Commerce Cloud data model inside your data cloud. If you look at the same tables, right, like sale order product, the product category, the product options and all this stuff. If you look at inside your data cloud, I'll showcase the tables that what has been relevant to B2C Commerce Cloud. So I'll take one of this. So there's one way you can see respective data model objects from here. And there is another way where you can go and then define your data model. Under your data model, you could see all your model objects that has been mapped, or you can see all the data model objects that has been captured. From day one of your data stream operation, you could see all the objects that has been mapped with the loyalty data sets. And in the data explorer, you could see all the respective data model objects where you could explore the data and the visualization of each and every object. And you could explore the data lake object data, character insights data as well inside Data Explorer. But if you look at your data lake on all data lake objects, so I have pretty much simple data, but you can showcase all the open one of the campaign data, can showcase one. So from here, you should have defined all the relationships of a data model from each and every table. So the one data model that what we've seen for Commerce Cloud. So here we do have different kind of relations that you can build for order bundle data structure. So you could design the same data model for the cardinality of each and every relation with respect to the product options. You can come here and then you could design the complete relationships of each and every product model. Once you're done, once you ingest the data bundle of Commerce Cloud into data streams, then it automatically give you the complete relationships of each and every table as well. You just click on new relationship, and then you could design the respective tables of source and the data model, and then you could design the related field and the related objects as well. So different kind of related objects available inside your sale order product, sales store, and all the details. And that's available only once you deployed your data bundle into your data cloud. Right. So pretty much this is the data connection for B2C Commerce Cloud. And frankly, I wouldn't be able to showcase on end-to-end with less restriction about my org. But pretty much tomorrow I can be able to showcase something on SDKs, mobile and web events. So let me know if anyone has any questions. So, but before that, I have something to give some sort of things to know for B2C Commerce Cloud, Data Cloud while integrating. So the most important thing is when you delete a connection to your B2C Commerce instance for one of your B2C Commerce site. So what will happen is it'll completely remove the connection stops because it will stop the connections of the data ingestion from your B2C Commerce instance to Data Cloud. So once you delete it, it completely stops the connection and the data stream from B2C Commerce to Data Cloud, which is not going to be happen. But the good thing is, if you connection that you're disconnecting from data streams or activations, so you're notified the Data Cloud can't disconnect it, and then it will give you a message, delete the data streams or activations and try again. So it's like when you're trying to delete any one of the field, which is depending on one of your Apex classes or VF pages or LWC, so it'll give you a message, right? The same thing, while you're disconnecting your connection, it'll ask you to go and then delete the respective data streams and activations as well. And adding a site takes up to 24 hours of data to be processed into Data Cloud, the one which you have told already in the initial time. And when you remove any site, let's take an example, you have 5 sites have been connected, and then you're trying to stop any of the site. And what will happen is the data which you already previously ingested from the site remains in Data Cloud. Whatever the data that comes on the motion or anything, that will stop actually. So that's one of the good things if you delete the site. So pretty much these are all some of the things to know from B2C Commerce Cloud side, and there are some resources which I would recommend everyone to go and then leverage from admin and setup perspective. And there are style mix available for Data Cloud, for Explore the customer Data Cloud, and there is data model style mix available, which you could design the map your data and define the data model. So this is where I'm talking about the best practices which is given by Data Cloud, and what are all the sources and what are all the data model of entities that needs to be defined. This is given very neat documentation. I would love everyone to go and then have a glance about it. Again, thank you. Any questions, I'll be happy to take it up, or else we'll connect tomorrow for connecting our final connectors of connecting web and mobile events to Data Cloud. You could understand how we can connecting website to Data Cloud and bring the data into Data Cloud. At the same time, how we can connecting websites, which is nothing but the website in events, website interactions, and then you could ingest the data into Data Cloud. So there might be a question asked. There is Interaction Studio also is there. You could also ingest the data of Interaction Studio events into Data Cloud. So that's also one more scenario where we can talk about it. So tomorrow is something good that I was also quite new to that, but I would love to explain whatever I know on this, and would really love to see everyone to join in the tomorrow's call. Thank you. Let me see if anyone has any questions. Let's go from top. In one of the slides, you mentioned that Data Cloud can only connect it to B2C Commerce production instance, not sandbox. Maybe that might be the issue why the connecting is failing. No, actually, Akash. Because you have to do the testing, right? Because you can't able to directly connecting to the production. Mile is a trial org. Day before yesterday, I think the same issue happens with Aris as well, because Aris is trying to connect to S3 location, because his S3 is one of the tests S3 location, and it creates the same instance for me as well. That's giving some kind of a picture, but ideally we should test with sandbox first with all this, and then we can go for production ideally. Sorry if I missed this, but what we will do once data model objects are ready. I think Lakshmi, once the data model objects are ready, then after that you can start. There are some next sessions which can talk about identity resolution, identity, the complete stack of leveraging this data model objects to use calculated insights to segmentations, activations, and everything. The base of all the next 3 is data model. So in the next sessions, you will understand what you can do with this data model objects. Can we set up an archival process in Data Cloud? I really don't know, Bala. Archival process is something which there is for sure, because the data which you already done the insights and everything which flows to Marketing Cloud, the unified data. So probably you could be able to delete some of the data streams where you don't want it. If you want to archive the data, it's a good question. I think probably I'll ask this question to some of the folks. Thank you. Can you explain the data lake again? I missed it. Okay. How should I explain the data lake architecture? Okay. Let me open my data model presentation, and then I'll just explain in a better way. Let me open that. Just give me 1 second. I'll share my screen. Yes. So the CIM is nothing but the Cloud Information Model team. So what it does is, this is one of the standard framework which is designed for enterprise data model architects. This is specially given you the two kind of models, one with conceptual model, and the other one is a canonical model. So in a simple nutshell, what it does is, so this is a framework, as you see here. This is one of the framework, the open standard framework, which is very lightweighted, which is very faster and can easily adapt for all the cloud applications. So if you can build a structure inside of any of your data warehouse or any of your data cloud or any other platform like Snowflake or anything, what it does is it will have a flexibility to connecting with multiple sources, multiple systems, because the same data model has been leveraged by other cloud storage systems as well. Because everywhere you go, for every data warehouse or every data cloud tool, every tool has been using the same model. Every tool has the same set of objects has been designed for cloud applications. So what it does is, while you're connecting this with any other third-party systems, it's very easy because the same formats they use, and they use the same availability to communicating with the different systems as well. So what it does is, if you look at your CAM, there are different commerce, sales service, or any other third party, or any other cloud services of Salesforce or any other thing. So what this model does is, it has a complete relation between all the tables. So it doesn't mean that, okay, this relation is not available. It's not like that. So you don't need to create a more number of custom objects or standard objects. You could just you can leverage the same model to leverage any cloud, and then you could design your own structure. You could bring the data from certain tables, and then you could use it. You don't need to bring the data and then design your own data model, and then you can orchestrate, or you could design more fancy stuff. You could just leverage the same cloud information model as well, which is very consistent data exchange between across all the Salesforce products. Not only Salesforce, it always gives a apart from Salesforce as well. So if you look at so I'll open, yeah. So if you look at this, especially the cloud information model, if you look at the subject area, the group, the entity, the attribute, and the data types, and all these fields. So for each and every model that what has been designed, this has been designed in such a way that the data formats and the designs and everything has been in the same standard for every cloud provider has been using it. So it's not something like, okay, this data type has been different, but it's not like that. Every data format that what CAM has been defined, which is common across all the systems. If you look at the products, if you look at all the ISP vendors or any other third-party systems, which is exactly the common. It's extensively flexible for every customer to fit into any other organization, which gives highly adaptable kind of a nature, and that gives a lot of flexibility for everyone to leverage it, even for Marketing Cloud, Sales Cloud, Service Cloud. You could use the same attributes for you to define at journey level, ad studio level, interaction studio level. It's a common across. So that's what the CA model which is designed for. The same model which is designed inside your data cloud. And when it comes to your data lake, so the data lake architecture which is designed in a two ways. That entire data lake architecture, you have, let me explain the data lake, which is a better way. So if you look at your systems of record, right, you have CDP, you have your some of the CDP. Let's look at this CDP. You have your core platform. You have your core platform, which is nothing but your Salesforce core sales, service, and platform, and your loyalty cloud. All has been sitting on your core platform, right? And then there are some times where I would love to use CDP as one of my data cloud solution to be leveraged inside my core platform. So the biggest question is whether the CDP fits inside your core or not. Exactly, the CDP fits inside your core because you're just leveraging one of the CDP package which you can install on top of your core platform. So this entire CDP platform designed with a data lakehouse architecture. Data lakehouse architecture. The data lakehouse architecture, which comes with your data warehouses plus your visualization metrics plus your complete your visualization metrics. So when you look at your core platform, this is completely designed with metadata architecture. So when you see this data lakehouse always have a adaptability that you could use this data for your data purposes, for data warehouses. You could use the same data to connecting with your multiple data sources, right? Other third party systems using CIM model or third party systems, because your data model is completely flexible using CIM structure. And at the same time, you could visualize the complete data into your Tableau. You can connect your data warehouse to data lakehouse to your Tableau, and it supports multiple BI tools. And at the same time, some of the metadata architecture, which is leveraging inside your Salesforce CDP as well, because this data lake architecture has a ready-made data cloud APIs that's completely tangible with your core platforms to leverage your multiple products called, you could leverage your data lakehouse objects into your flow orchestration. And you could use the same data into your Einstein, and you could use the same for sales and service cloud and loyalty clouds as well. That's where the lakehouse, which is designed in such a way that can be adaptable for core, adaptable for your third-party services, and adaptable for your visualization metrics as well. So that's the complete structure which is designed in CDP, because it has a complete lakehouse architecture has been designed. Hope you can understand. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure that somehow you understand on this. Thanks, Bala. Any other questions? Any other question, Ashwin? Thank you, Ashwin. So there are a lot of things, especially which is coming for data cloud. I would really, explain in the coming sessions, which is really gives a lot of sense on how data cloud leveraging for the core platforms, data cloud, which is sitting on data lakehouse. And because I would love to talk about one of the data cloud project we designed inside our company. So that is really good. We designed pretty great architecture with complete, because the data lakehouse can support for your data warehouse, your complete data cloud, and your visualizations and everything. I'm gonna showcase that because we designed already a project and it is already in live. All right, thank you for joining with us today. So let's catch up.